So I just finished watching Love Hurts, an action comedy-esque perfect movie for Valentine's Day weekend. It stars Quan, who just won Best Supporting Actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And this guy is just one of the most lovable personalities in Hollywood right now, on a bit of a comeback tour, especially when he was a child actor doing stuff like The Goonies and Short Round and Temple of Doom. Here he is, he's back in the limelight once again. He's been on a roll over the last couple of years. He just did Low-Key Season 2 last year as OB, one of the most likable characters in that show. And now here he is doing an action comedy just in time for Valentine's Day. And Quan plays Marvin, a Milwaukee realtor who receives a crimson envelope from Rose, played by Ariana DeBose, a former partner in crime who he left for dead. And he now finds himself thrust back into a world of ruthless hitmen, including his little brother, and these all turn his open houses upside down into deadly war zones. And I will say this much, the action in this movie isn't bad. I do enjoy the fight choreography quite a bit. I did enjoy Kwan's performance quite a bit as well. This guy, every time you hear his voice, every time you just see his smile light up the screen, I just couldn't help but smile myself. This guy is just so endearing. Like, you just want to hug him. And it's just so cool that after all this time, 2 decades of not getting any work after doing The Goonies and Short Round, with Chunk as his manager, man, what a world we live in. And what a world we live in to see him on screen again with Mikey from The Goonies in a short reunion, if you will, and Sean Astin. And those of you who are big Sean Astin fans might be disappointed to learn that he has a very small role in this. But there's just one scene in this movie as an avid fan of The Goonies that just tugged at my heartstrings. And yeah, I don't know how much of it was Sean Astin actually acting. I'm sure Sean Astin is actually proud of how Quan has come back. And those are just a couple of small glimmers into what I actually consider a pretty lousy action comedy. And it really bugs me when I say that Love Hurts just was not a good movie at all. Let me put this in perspective for you. Love Hurts is a very quick watch. It's only about an hour and 23 minutes. That's about the average time of a classic 2D Disney animated movie. And I counted at least 10 different subplots that were going on. Just way too fucking much. If you're gonna have this short of a runtime and make it as easy to sit through as you want it to be, just keep it one contained story. As much as I'm a fan of Marshawn Lynch, I don't really think he needed to be in this movie. Although, I will admit, it's actually kind of hilarious to hear him deliver some of this dialogue. And I feel like this performance by Lynch is just going to turn this movie into somewhat of a guilty pleasure because you can't help but laugh at it. God, there were only 2 things missing from this performance. Number 1, a big gigantic pack of Skittles for him. And number 2, running the damn ball at the 1-yard line.
Run the dang ball!
As a Seahawks fan, I'm still bitter about that. I don't care that we clobbered the Sheriff in Super Bowl 48. Like, we should have been back-to-back. What's in the past is in the past. But anyway, yeah, in all seriousness, Marshawn Lynch wasn't great in this movie, but he was so much fun to watch. Even Sean Astin, in his little screen time he has, feels like he's kind of sleepwalking through this movie. It feels like it's a paycheck for him. And as much as I hate to say it, Ariana DeBose really isn't all that impressive in this movie either. Which is wild, because like Quan, she is also a Best Supporting winner at the Oscars, and a recent one at that. But since she won for West Side Story, since then, I can't really think of one memorable Ariana DeBose performance. I mean, yeah, I know there's some people out there who really like Wish. I wasn't really one of them. She was just in Kraven the Hunter. She sleepwalked through that movie too, and it fucking sucked. And I hate to say, you can kind of add Love Hurts to that list as well. And not to mention, this chemistry between these two, Ariana DeBose and Quan, non-existent. You're not going to find it. Even if it was in the most obvious place in your house, you still would not be able to locate the chemistry between these two. And for a Valentine's Day movie that's supposed to have these cutesy moments thrown into the mix, it just didn't strike me in the least, guys. And for a movie that had a lot going on as well, thinking about it more and more, it felt pretty aimless. It just felt like a film that was going through the motions of everything. Like, okay, yeah, Kwan's character is a realtor who used to be a hitman. Now he's being pulled back into the mix by his brother. And his brother doesn't even really have much of a character either. He's just a bad guy that he beats up at the end. Which I really don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that. It really just felt like this movie, it just wasn't clicking for me, guys. The story had way too many pieces thrown into the mix. It should have been a much more contained narrative. The performances outside of our leading by Quan were pretty much nil. The direction and the editing choices really weren't all that spectacular either. The sound effects and the sound mixing in this movie are pretty obnoxious when you put it up against this fight choreo. Like, if you really want to go see this movie to support Ke Huy Quan, like, have at it. Because Ke Huy Quan deserves all the support in the world, and I really, really hope that his career continues on the upward trajectory that it's been on. I think it's just proof that they can't all be winners. Love Hurts is definitely not a winner. I'm going to give Love Hurts a D. And you have no idea how much it pains me saying that, because the trailers made it look like it was going to be fun. But sadly, I was just sitting there waiting for the pain to end. Let me know what you thought of Love Hurts down in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite Valentine's Day themed movie is, what your favorite romance movie is. There's a lot that we can discuss over here and then some on this channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Tap on that thumbs up as well. I have a big surprise planned for y'all once I hit that 2,000 subscriber mark, which we are inching oh so close to. But you know, I can't reveal what it is until you guys help me get there. Thank you all so much again for your continued support. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.